She called me a thief. She claimed I stole her entire life. Then my lawyer filed one sealed folder. Afterward, neither parent could look at me.
10 years after my sister abandoned her baby on my doorstep, she walked into a courtroom wearing pearls and called me a thief. She said I had stolen her daughter, stolen her inheritance, and stolen 10 years of a life that should have belonged to her. Then my lawyer placed one sealed folder in front of the judge. Before that folder was opened, my parents were smiling. Afterward, neither of them could look at me. Hello, my name is Claire Bennett, and this is the story of how I became a mother in the middle of a thunderstorm, and how the family who abandoned us returned when they smelled money. I was 29 years old when someone began pounding on my front door at 2:13 in the morning. Rain hammered the roof of my little bungalow outside Columbus, Ohio. Lightning flashed through the bedroom curtains. I had been asleep for less than an hour after finishing a late shift at Riverside Medical Center, where I worked as a respiratory therapist. At first, I thought the pounding was part of the storm. Then I heard a baby cry. I ran to the door barefoot. When I opened it, cold rain blew across the hallway. Nobody stood on the porch. A car was disappearing at the end of the street, its red taillights trembling through the downpour. At my feet sat a plastic laundry basket, covered with a wet yellow blanket. Inside was a baby. She could not have been more than 3 months old. Her tiny face was red from screaming. Her sleeper was damp. A diaper bag leaned against the basket, and a folded grocery receipt had been tucked beneath the handle. 3 words were written across it in blue ink. Her name is Lily. I knew the handwriting. My sister Vanessa always made the tales of her wives too long. I carried the basket inside and called 911. While I waited, I wrapped the baby in warm towels and checked her breathing. She was cold, hungry, and frightened, but she was alive. The diaper bag contained 4 diapers, half a container of formula, 1 bottle, and no identification. There was no birth certificate, no insurance card, and no note explaining where Vanessa had gone. There was only a second message buried in the side pocket. Don't call me. I can't do this. The police arrived first, followed by paramedics and a county social worker named Denise Walker. I answered questions until sunrise. Yes, Vanessa was my younger sister. No, I had not known she was pregnant. No, I did not know who the father was. No, this had not been arranged. At the hospital, Lily gripped my finger while a nurse checked her temperature. That one tiny hand changed the direction of my life. At 7 in the morning, I called my parents. My mother answered on the 6th ring. Claire, do you know what time it is? Vanessa left a baby on my porch. Silence. Not shock, not confusion. Silence. That was when I realized they already knew. Mom, did you know she was pregnant? My father took the phone. Vanessa has been under a great deal of pressure. She left a 3-month-old outside in a storm. And the baby is safe now, he said. You work in medicine. You're responsible. This is probably for the best. For the best. My mother's voice returned, colder than before. Your sister has a chance to rebuild her life. Don't ruin that by making this dramatic. I stared through the hospital window at rainwater sliding down the glass. What am I supposed to do with her child? My mother sighed. She's your burden now, Claire. Then she hung up. Child Protective Services placed Lily in emergency foster care with me for 72 hours while they searched for Vanessa. Those 3 days became 3 weeks. 3 weeks became 3 months. Vanessa had emptied her bank account, abandoned her apartment, and disconnected her phone. My parents claimed they had no idea where she was. I did not believe them, but I had no proof. I learned how to warm a bottle with one hand. I learned which floorboard to avoid when Lily was sleeping. I learned that she liked the low humming sound of my dryer and hated green pacifiers. I also learned how quickly people disappear when caring becomes inconvenient. My parents never visited. They sent no clothes, no formula, and no money. When the county asked them to submit fingerprints as possible family caregivers, they refused. At the first custody hearing, my mother attended by video. She told the magistrate that she and my father were not physically equipped for an infant. They were 54 and 57, both healthy, and had just returned from a hiking vacation in Utah. The magistrate asked whether they wanted contact with their grandchild. My mother said, "Not at this time." I will never forget those 4 words. 6 months later, I was granted legal guardianship. On Lily's first birthday, I baked a lopsided strawberry cake. Denise came. 2 nurses from my hospital came. My next-door neighbor, Mrs. Alvarez, brought a tiny silver bracelet. My family sent nothing. That night, after Lily fell asleep against my chest, I promised her something. You will never have to earn your place in this house. I whispered. You already belong here. I thought the worst part was over. I was wrong. 2 weeks later, I received a postcard with no return address. On the front was a beach in California. On the back, Vanessa had written one sentence: "Tell Lily her mother loves her enough to stay away." I handed the postcard to Denise, who gave it to the county investigator. What I did not know was that the postmark would become the first piece of a trail, and that my father was already paying to keep that trail hidden. Raising Lily was not a sacrifice. It was a life. It was exhausting, expensive, funny, and more beautiful than I had believed my life could be. I took weekend shifts so I could be home with her during the week. Mrs. Alvarez watched her when daycare closed. I refinanced my house when Lily needed tubes in her ears and my insurance refused part of the bill. At 3, she called me Mama Claire for the first time. I went into the laundry room and cried where she could not see me. At 4, she asked why other children had fathers. At 5, she asked why Grandma and Grandpa never came to her birthday. I never told her they did not want her. I said some adults were too broken to understand what they were missing. The adoption became final when Lily was 6. Vanessa's parental rights had been terminated after years of abandonment and failure to respond to court notices. My parents received notice of the adoption hearing. They did not attend. Lily wore a navy blue dress and sparkly shoes. When the judge asked if she understood what adoption meant, she nodded. "It means she's already my mom, but now the paper knows it too." Everyone in the courtroom laughed. I cried again. For a while, we had peace. Then my grandmother Evelyn died. Grandma Evelyn had been the only person in my family who supported me. She lived in Savannah, Georgia, and was already in her 80s when Lily arrived. She could not travel often, but she called every Sunday. She sent books with handwritten notes inside and paid for Lily's first summer camp. She never forgave my parents for walking away. "Your mother believes love is a reward she can withhold," Grandma once told me. Do not let her teach that poison to the child. Grandma died when Lily was 8. At the reading of her will, I discovered she had created a trust for Lily worth a little over $800,000. It included investment accounts and proceeds from the sale of a small rental property. I was named trustee until Lily turned 25. The trust could pay only for Lily's education, healthcare, housing, and general welfare. Every expense had to be documented. I took that responsibility seriously. I opened separate accounts, hired an independent accountant, and refused to use a dollar for anything that benefited me personally. My parents received $75,000 each. Vanessa received $1. The will explained why. My grandmother wrote that Vanessa had knowingly abandoned her child and ignored multiple private offers of help. She also wrote that my parents had concealed Vanessa's location from authorities and supported her financially while refusing to help Lily. That sentence stunned me. I had always suspected my parents knew where Vanessa was. Grandma Evelyn had known for certain. I confronted my father outside the attorney's office. "You knew where she was." He adjusted his jacket and would not meet my eyes. "Your grandmother was an angry old woman." "Did you send Vanessa money?" "She was our daughter." "Lily was your granddaughter." My mother stepped between us. "You got what you wanted, Claire. You got the child, and now she comes with a fortune. Must you still play the victim?" That was the moment I understood them completely. They did not see 10 years of doctor visits, fevers, school projects, nightmares, grocery bills, or bedtime stories. They saw that Lily had become valuable. 6 months later, Vanessa returned. She appeared outside Lily's elementary school on a Thursday afternoon. I was waiting in the pickup line when I saw a tall woman in a cream coat standing beside the fence. Her blonde hair was shorter, and fine lines framed her mouth, but I knew her immediately. Vanessa smiled when Lily came through the doors. "There's my baby." Lily stopped. I stepped between them. "You need to leave." "You." Vanessa looked offended. "I'm her mother." "No, you are the woman who left her outside." Her smile vanished. She told me she had changed. She had married a real estate developer named Grant Mercer. They lived in Scottsdale. She had been sober for 3 years. She said she wanted a relationship with Lily. Then she made the mistake that exposed her true purpose. Grandma's money can help us give her the life she deserves. She had been back for less than 2 minutes, and she was already talking about the trust. I called the police. Vanessa left before they arrived, but not before slipping an envelope through my open car window. Inside was a petition seeking to overturn the adoption. She claimed she had never abandoned Lily voluntarily. According to Vanessa, I had agreed to care for the baby temporarily, then conspired with our parents to hide the custody proceedings from her. It was an outrageous lie. Even worse, my parents had signed sworn affidavits supporting it. They now claimed I had manipulated them 10 years earlier. They said I had always been jealous of Vanessa and had used her. Temporary mental health crisis. To steal her child. I read the affidavits at my kitchen table while Lily did homework in the next room. My hands shook so badly that the pages rattled. Then my attorney Maya Patel called with worse news. Vanessa was also accusing me of draining Lily's trust. She claimed I had used nearly $200,000 to renovate my house, buy a car, and fund vacations. The numbers were false, but they were close enough to real expenses to be dangerous. Someone had seen the trust records. Only 4 people had accessed me, Maya, my accountant, and the bank officer overseeing the account. The bank officer was my father's oldest friend. His name was Raymond Cole. Raymond had been at every important family event when I was growing up. He played golf with my father. He gave Vanessa and me $50 bills at Christmas. When Grandma's trust was established, her estate lawyer used Raymond's bank, because Grandma had known him for 30 years. Maya filed an emergency motion to protect the trust and demanded a complete access log. The bank resisted. That told us everything. I spent the next month living inside boxes of paper. Every trust payment had a receipt. The supposed car purchase was actually a specially equipped used vehicle bought by the trust after Lily developed a serious hip condition and needed months of mobility support. The luxury renovation was a downstairs bedroom and accessible bathroom approved by the trust attorney. The vacations were travel expenses for surgery and physical therapy in Cincinnati. Vanessa had taken legitimate expenses and stripped away their purpose. Online, she was telling a different story. She posted photographs of herself holding a baby blanket and wrote about a sister who had weaponized the courts against a vulnerable young mother. Strangers called me a kidnapper. Someone painted THIF across my garage. Lily saw it before I did. She stood in the driveway in her school uniform, staring at the red letters. "Is she going to take me?" she asked. I knelt in front of her. "No one is taking you anywhere. But she's my real mother." That hurt, although I knew she did not mean it cruelly. "She gave birth to you," I said, "and I will never lie about that. But being a mother is more than one day. It is every day after." Lily began to cry. "Then why does she want me now?" I could not tell a 10-year-old that $800,000 had suddenly made her interesting. So I held her and said, "That is a question Vanessa must answer." Maya hired a forensic accountant and a private investigator named Ben Rourke. Ben traced Vanessa's life after she disappeared. The story she told the court was polished. The truth was not. 3 days after leaving Lily on my porch, Vanessa flew from Columbus to Los Angeles. My father purchased the ticket. He later rented an apartment for her under the name of one of his construction companies. For 6 years, my parents sent her money through accounts connected to that company. Vanessa had not been missing. She had been maintained. Ben also found a former roommate named Keisha Morgan. Keisha remembered Vanessa clearly. She said Vanessa used to laugh about leaving the screaming problem with her responsible sister. But a memory was not enough. We needed proof. Then Raymond Cole called me from a number I did not recognize. His voice sounded weak. "Claire, I made a terrible mistake." Raymond admitted giving my father confidential summaries of the trust. He said my father told him the family was considering reconciliation and needed to understand Lily's financial future. "You broke the law," I said. "I know. Why are you telling me now?" He was quiet for several seconds. "Because they asked me to change the access records. My father wanted the bank logs altered, so it would appear that I had repeatedly accessed investment funds and authorized transfers myself." Raymond refused. 2 days later, someone broke into his office. Nothing was stolen except an old external hard drive. Raymond believed my father was trying to destroy evidence. Maya arranged for him to give a recorded deposition and turn over his emails. He also produced something unexpected, a scan of a letter Grandma Evelyn had left with the bank's legal department. The letter said that if anyone challenged Lily's trust or Claire's adoption, a sealed evidence packet held by Grandma's attorney was to be delivered directly to the court. We contacted the estate attorney. The packet was gone. His office logs showed that my mother had collected a box of Grandma's personal documents 5 days after the funeral. The sealed packet had apparently been inside it. For the first time, I felt real fear. My family was not merely lying, they were removing evidence. Maya told me not to contact them. Ben continued digging. The breakthrough came from a storage facility outside Savannah. Grandma had rented a climate-controlled unit under her maiden name. Payments were scheduled to continue for 2 years after her death. When they stopped, the facility sent notices to the alternate contact listed on the contract. The alternate contact was me. The notices had been mailed to my old apartment, so I never received them. Ben found the record while reviewing Grandma's financial statements. Inside the unit were family photographs, furniture, tax records, and a small fireproof safe. The safe contained a second sealed folder. Grandma had made a duplicate. Maya would not let me open it. The instructions say it must be opened by the judge, she said. We preserve the chain of custody. I stared at the thick brown folder. Grandma's signature ran across the sealed flap. Beneath it, she had written a date from 10 years earlier. 3 weeks after Lily was left with me. I wondered what she had known and why she had waited. Then Vanessa's lawyer offered a settlement. Vanessa would drop her attempt to overturn the adoption if I resigned as trustee and authorized an immediate payment of $300,000 into a family reunification fund controlled by her. There it was, the price of her motherhood. I rejected the offer. My father called that night. Think about Lily, he said. Trials destroy children. You abandoned her before she could speak. You made difficult choices. No, you made convenient ones. His voice hardened. If you go through with this, every mistake you've ever made will become public. I looked through the doorway at Lily sleeping on the couch with a book open on her chest. Then bring all of them, I said. I am done being afraid of people who only love children when there is money attached. The trial began 6 weeks later. Vanessa arrived at the Franklin County Courthouse in a white suit and pearl earrings. She looked like a woman going to a charity luncheon, not a mother trying to erase 10 years of her child's life. My parents sat behind her. My mother gave me a small, confident smile. They believed the case was already won. For 2 days, Vanessa cried on command. She testified that she had suffered severe postpartum depression. She claimed I promised to care for Lily for 2 weeks but then blocked her calls. She said my parents had been confused and manipulated by me. Her attorney displayed enlarged photographs of my home renovation and the adapted vehicle. Without context, they looked expensive. Then he asked me how much I had personally benefited from controlling Lily's trust. Nothing, I said. You live in the renovated house? Correct. Yes. You drive the vehicle. I drive Lily in it. And you traveled using trust money to take her to surgery. He kept cutting off my explanations. I could see the judge taking notes. For 1 terrible hour, I understood how a lie could become convincing when truth was forced to answer only yes or no. Then Maya began our case. The forensic accountant explained every dollar. Not one payment had gone to me. In fact, I had personally spent more than $140,000 raising Lily before the trust existed. Dennis Walker, now a county supervisor, produced the original abandonment report. It included photographs of the wet basket, the notes in Vanessa's handwriting, and records of every failed attempt to locate her. Keisha testified by video about Vanessa calling Lily a problem. Raymond admitted leaking bank information and described my father's request to falsify access logs. The judge referred the matter to the prosecutor and the state banking regulator before Raymond even left the witness stand. My father's face turned gray. Then the airline records, apartment lease, and canceled checks appeared on the courtroom screen. My parents had sent Vanessa more than $260,000 over 10 years. They had paid her rent, bought her car, funded 2 business attempts, and covered the destination wedding where she married Grant. During the same years, they had never bought Lily a birthday card. Maya asked my mother why she had told the original custody court that she did not know Vanessa's location. My mother lifted her chin. I was protecting my daughter. Which daughter? Maya asked. My mother did not answer. Finally, Maya carried the brown folder to the bench. Your Honor, this packet was recovered from a secure storage unit belonging to Evelyn Bennett. The seal bears her signature and has been verified by an independent document examiner. Her written instructions request that the court open it if Lily Bennett's adoption or trust is ever challenged. Vanessa's lawyer objected. The judge overruled him. The courtroom became so quiet that I could hear the soft tearing of paper as the judge broke the seal. Inside were 3 things. The first was a notarized statement from Grandma Evelyn. The second was a flash drive. The third was a copy of Lily's original hospital discharge form. The judge called a recess while the files were authenticated. When we returned, a short video was played on the courtroom monitor. Vanessa appeared on the screen, sitting in Grandma's kitchen 10 years younger. Grandma's voice came from behind the camera. Tell me exactly what you intend to do. Vanessa rolled her eyes. I am leaving the baby with Claire. For how long? Forever, if she'll keep her. And if she will not? Vanessa shrugged. Then the state can have her. My stomach turned. Grandma asked whether Vanessa wanted counseling, treatment, housing, or financial help. Vanessa rejected every offer. Then my father's voice entered from off camera. Nuff, Evelyn. Vanessa has made her decision. Claire always wanted to be needed. Let her handle it. My mother added. Once Claire bonds with the baby, she won't give her up. The video continued. Grandma warned them that abandoning a child was a crime. My father said they would leave Lily somewhere safe and tell Claire not to involve the police. Vanessa laughed. Claire follows rules. She'll call them, but she'll also keep the baby. That's what she does. She cleans up everyone else's mess. The recording ended. No one moved. The hospital discharge form showed that Vanessa had listed my parents' address as her residence. My mother's signature appeared on the line for the adult taking Vanessa and the baby home. They had all lied from the beginning. Grandma's statement explained that she had recorded the conversation after Vanessa announced her plan. Grandma had immediately contacted an attorney. She had not stopped them, because they falsely promised Lily would be handed to me safely in daylight, while they arranged a legal guardianship. When she learned they had left the baby outside during a storm, she reported everything she knew. But my parents and Vanessa denied the conversation, and the original recording was temporarily lost after Grandma's home was burglarized. Years later, she recovered a backup from an old camera card and created 2 sealed packets. Her final sentence was read aloud by the judge. Claire did not steal this child. She was the only person in our family who did not abandon her. Vanessa stared at the table. My mother began crying. Not the quiet tears of regret, but the angry tears of someone who had lost control. The judge dismissed Vanessa's petition with prejudice. That meant she could never bring the same claim again. She confirmed that my adoption of Lily was valid and permanent. She removed any temporary restriction on the trust and ordered Vanessa to pay a substantial portion of my legal fees. She also referred the perjury, attempted evidence tampering, bank misconduct, and possible conspiracy to prosecutors. But Maya was not finished. We had filed a counterclaim under seal to protect Lily. With the court's permission, Maya announced that I was seeking damages only for the money I had spent defending the fraudulent case and repairing the vandalism. Not $1 from Lily's trust. The remaining damages, if awarded, would go into a separate scholarship fund for children placed with relatives after abandonment. Vanessa finally looked at me. "You ruined my life," she whispered. I thought about the basket, the wet blanket, the 4 diapers, the postcard from California. "No," I said. "I stopped you from ruining hers." 3 months later, Vanessa accepted a plea agreement for perjury and attempted fraud. She received probation, community service, and an order to repay my legal costs. My father pleaded guilty to attempted evidence tampering. Raymond lost his banking position and surrendered his license, though his cooperation kept him out of prison. My mother was never charged, but the social world she valued learned exactly what she had done. Friends stopped calling. Committees asked her to resign. For her, public truth was a harsher punishment than any fine. I did not celebrate their pain. I celebrated our freedom. Lily stayed in therapy through the trial and afterward. When she was ready, I showed her an age-appropriate version of the truth. I told her Vanessa's choices were not evidence that Lily was unwanted. They were evidence that Vanessa had been unwilling to love responsibly. "Did you want me?" Lily asked. We were sitting on the porch where I had found her 10 years earlier. The old boards had been replaced, but when it rained, the air still carried the same smell of wet earth and maple leaves. At first I was terrified, I admitted. I did not know if I could become what you needed. She looked down at our joined hands. "But did you want me?" I squeezed her fingers. "By sunrise, there was nowhere else I wanted you to be." The scholarship fund was approved the following spring. We named it Evelyn's Door, because Grandma believed every child deserved one safe door that would open. On the first anniversary of the trial, Lily and I stood in the rain under one umbrella and placed a small brass plaque beside our front door. It read, "Family is not the person who leaves you at the door. Family is the person who opens it." For 10 years, my parents called Lily my burden. They were wrong. She was never the burden. The burden was their secret, and the moment that sealed folder opened, I finally gave it back.